Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Turnbull Stakes Day from yesterday at Flemington. It's going to be a bit different this review because we're not going to look at all the stakes races at Flemington, just going to look at the Turnbull, the blackbookers and the futures bets. So let's get on with the Turnbull. And wasn't it a great win by Sir DELIUS? A brilliant ride from Craig Williams at about the 1200 metres. He pressed forward and got in the one out, one back position. And it just went bang, especially that last 100 metres really started running away from Antino and Via Sistina and the rest of its rivals. It won very easily in the end by a length and 3/4. Antino was a good run, was 3 wide most of the trip without cover and stuck on for second. Via Sistina, I thought had every chance in third and a little bit underwhelming considering the heights we know she can get to. The fourth place getter, Half Yours, brilliant Caulfield Cup trial, was doing some exceptional work through the line. Aliana, a little bit disappointing. It was really well backed, started with a 3 in front of it and was a little bit disappointing on face value. Deacon was a very solid run. It ran 6th. In terms of what flew home from the back, Middle Earth missed the start by about 3 lengths or so, and it only ended up finishing 4.5 lengths off Sir DELIUS. So if it jumps with them, I think Middle Earth is right up there in terms of, we've got to be following this one as well. So look, out of the race, Sir DELIUS, I don't know how they beat him in the Melbourne Cup when he gets there. They're not going to beat him on class. Sir DELIUS is probably the best horse going around at the moment, judging off yesterday, and they're not going to beat him on class in the Melbourne Cup. The only way that I reckon Sir DELIUS can get beaten in the Cup is Sir DELIUS himself. Will he run out the trip or not? Will the weight be too much? I know 55.5 isn't too much, but you never know in a Melbourne Cup. So yeah, Sir DELIUS, let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I don't know how it gets beaten in the Melbourne Cup. In terms of the others, I thought they were all solid runs. Half Yours, got to follow it into a Caulfield Cup. It looks ready to go. Now we'll move on to the Black Bookers. Let's start in race 1, taken out by de Bergerac, but keep your eye on the horse in the black with the yellow star in the middle called Persian Spirit. I thought this horse's work after the line was very solid and we must follow it. Next start, third up. Now it ended up finishing 5th, beaten a length and a half, Persian Spirit. It was second up yesterday. Its first up win down the Flemington Straight a few weeks ago was very, very good. And look, it's a horse that can put itself on speed we've seen in its career to date. So Persian Spirit out of the first race, I thought was doing some very good work through the line, was very good after the line, and I think we have to follow it. Third up next start, it'll be peaking. Next up, out of the Maribyrnong Trial Stakes for the 2-year-old debutantes, this horse visually didn't look too impressive compared to its rivals, but I'm happy to throw it in the black book in the Tiakau colours, the orange with the blue stars, Flash of Class. Now from the 400 to the 200 approximately, this horse loses ground quite considerably, and it feels like it's about to drop out and lose by a lot, but, well, not a lot, but maybe 4 or 5 length defeat. But then from the 200 metres to the finish, it's not losing any ground whatsoever, and after the post it was doing some really good work and catching up to its rivals again. So I think it's already got to be given some merit for its run yesterday as well, because it was without cover down the straight and 3 horses off the inside, couldn't see the running rail too well, and that helps 2-year-olds at this time of the year. So Flash of Class, we might get a nice price about next start. Next Black Booker comes out of the Danehill Stakes, was undefeated heading into yesterday, copped its first defeat yesterday, but I thought it was still a very good run. Legacy Bound, it's in the green with the white V, second from the right at the moment. Look, I thought it was a very good run. It was really catching up to Tentyrus late, and obviously the 2 on the outside, Magora and My Gladiola. It was only second up yesterday, so I think next start, third up. Does it go 4 weeks into a Coolmore or has a run before then? I'm not too sure, but I think its run yesterday was very, very good over 1100 metres and will be suited stepping up to 1200 metres in the future. And it's, I think, a very good horse, Legacy Bound. It was doing some really good work towards and through the line yesterday, so I'm happy to follow Legacy Bound and put it in the black book. Those are all the black bookers from yesterday at Flemington for me: Persian Spirit, Flash of Class and Legacy Bound. Now onto the futures bets. I've got 4 from yesterday. I want to say before I reel these off, I don't really like futures betting. Most of the futures bets I throw up on here, I don't even back myself. But what I do like is trying to predict the winner of a feature race really early on. And that's why I do this. And I just accompany the price with it at the end to see if we're getting any value at all. So we're going to start at race 4 at Randwick from yesterday. Attica, the winner. I was on it and I was really happy with this performance because I thought it was in an impossible position in run. It was last, it was wide around the corner, and it absolutely stormed home to win over 1,600 metres. This horse just reminds me so much of Tom Kitten from 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and Tom Kitten went on to win the Spring Champion. That's why I'm throwing Attica in the futures bets for. Not getting too much value at $3.60. I thought the horse in the Bob Peters colours running on Federalist was very good through the line, but I just think Attica, if it draws a gate next start, or at least draws a gate in the Spring Champion where I think it's going to go, it can position itself closer to the speed, and I think it's just going to improve again. This next futures bet I'm actually going to back myself. Into the 1,000 guineas, out of the Flight Stakes, Korinska. In the Star Thoroughbreds colours, ran third yesterday in the Flight Stakes behind Apocalyptic, who was obviously very strong, and also within the Law, who is a very consistent 3-year-old filly. And then there's Korinska, who finally, after getting up to this sort of distance of 1,600 metres, really showed its best and ran a good race. Now, Apocalyptic at the moment is a $2.30 favourite, within the Law about $8, so you'd think Korinska would be no more than $10. It's $26 at the moment for Korinska, and well, I don't know if Apocalyptic or Within the Law are coming to the 1,000 guineas, but it seems like the fillies we've got down here at the moment in Victoria are inferior to the likes of Apocalyptic, Within the Law, and even Korinska. So at $26, trained by Chris Waller, he's got a Flemington stable, so I'm not confident, but I think it can happen where Korinska runs in the 1,000 guineas, and at $26, I think it's over the odds. I think it's a good filly. Next, we'll look at the Premier Stakes, where Briasa beats Jimmy Star. I'm happy to follow Jimmy Star. It's in the Yossi Kia colours last at the moment. Ends up storming home for second. Now, both Briasa and Jimmy Star have got slots in the Everest, so that's where they'll be heading next. But where do they head to with Jimmy Star after that? Do they go to the Russell Balding over 1,300 metres, or do they go to the Champion Sprint down the Flemington Straight over 1,200 metres? Flemington Straight, a lot of time for Jimmy Star to build his momentum, and that's the futures bet I'm throwing in. The futures bets, $6.50 at the moment in the Champion Sprint for Kieran Maher. Even if he runs in the Russell Balding, he could go off the week back up, just like Kieran Maher did with Bella Nipotina last year and run in the Champion Sprint. So Jimmy Star I'm following into the Champion Sprint. And you might scoff at this last futures bet, but it comes out of the Metropolitan. More Felons into the Caulfield Cup. It's currently at the back. It's last. Green sleeves, white with the red cap. I just want to reel off all 7 of More Felons runs in Australia since it's come over. Ran 5th, beaten a half a length in the Geelong Cup. Then ran midfield behind Without a Fight in the Melbourne Cup. Wins the Parramatta Cup. Then comes second in the Group 1 Tancred. Spell for a year and a half. Comes back behind Too Darn Discreet in the Heatherly, was no chance. Then in the Kingston Town, still wasn't fit enough second up. And then yesterday in the Metropolitan, it was third up. From the outside draw, it had to go right back to last. And it was really, really good, only losing by a length and a half. This horse at $51 for the Caulfield Cup. It's got a good enough handicap rating to get into the Cup. So More Felons at $51. I want to throw it in the futures bets. So there you go, guys. Those are the futures bets we've got at the moment. We've had 3 futures bets run in this spring. Raging Force never got to the Golden Rose. Within the Law and Korinska in the Flight, they ran 2nd and 3rd respectively. So no winners to start with, but some encouragement within the Law and Korinska yesterday. Thanks everyone for watching this review show, and until next video, bye for now.